No, I didn't get time to review it, but we are good. I mean, I've not reviewed it, but I'll go over it maybe like on Thursday or Friday. I'm in
Okay.
training these 2 days, so really busy. Didn't get time to review it. But we can
Yeah.
continue. No doubts.
Fine. No issues. Anything that I can know? So slightly moving ahead, where
Yeah.
we started with tuples, tuple functions last time,
Right.
dictionary, and file indexing,
Uh-huh.
list indexing. So these were the couple of topics of handling the various type of data types.
Right.
As
Yeah.
discussing in Python, there are three types of data types: list, tuples, and dictionaries. Okay.
Right.
So the overall assignment is about how do we handle the various type of data types.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Slightly going ahead with tuples, we have seen that let's say for an example, I have declared my tuples as vowels.
Uh-huh.
I guess this was the portion only remaining from yesterday, so I'll just quickly cover it up and then
Yeah.
we'll go for the next one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so these are my vowels, and now vowels dot index. So I want to search only E out of it. Okay,
Okay.
I want to search E and get its
Right.
index.
Right.
Okay. So E is being identified at the position, let's say 0 and 1. So this particular command will give me the index of E as 1.
Okay. Yeah.
I can ask it to get it printed likewise. The index of E will be index.
Right.
Okay. Likewise, let's say if we go for I guess
Mhm.
had a discussion, right? It gives us the first occurrence, index of the
Yeah.
first,
Yes.
and not
That's
number
right.
of.
Right.
Okay. This one also I guess we have covered. P is not present, and if I am asking, obviously it will not be able to display it
Yes.
across.
Right.
Yes. Okay. This is the portion.
Yeah.
Now, it's a tuple is a combination of nested tuples and somewhere the list.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And now
Yeah.
I have declared everything inside R1.
Yeah.
Now I am asking him to count my R1 for a mutual occurrence of A and B.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So R1 dot count, and this is what I want to identify out of it.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Count.
Now the syntax is print command, the
Mm-hmm.
display message, which is given in double quote, and
Right.
then the variable which will be displayed, let's say CNT.
Right.
Hmm. So CNT is equal to R1 dot count and this mutual occurrence, and it's going to give me 2 as an output.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Subsequently, I want to handle R1 dot count for 2, 4. Okay. So
Is
3
one.
and 4, it has appeared only once, so it will display
Right.
me across 1.
Right.
What if I go for A? Let's explore it. Okay. You can see that A is treated as a separate entity, and in braces A and B is treated as a separate entity, that is tuple. So that's the reason when I go for A, it is only giving me the occurrence as 1.
Yeah, because that is nested, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because
It is nested. It's a nested tuple. Obviously, the A and B within braces is considered as one entity. Yeah.
yes, right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
in short, like there is a possibility of usage of count, index. You can see that index is one of the command. Subsequently, count was one of the command. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
We're doing now everything which has been declared. It is stored in R1. So
Right.
do I want the count? Do I want the index? Whatever it is, it should be given as R1 dot count. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there are a lot of such ready-made APIs which are used to explore the various attributes of the different variables or different data types.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So this is for tuples.
Okay. Just go. Let's go back 1 second.
Yeah, please.
I just wanted to see the. Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay. So this one is for tuples.
Right.
Subsequently for tuple functions. Just 1 second. Okay. So count of this we have seen. Yes. The another logic of display if the values are matching or not. Okay. So let's say L is a list,
Uh-huh. 1, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
and I want to say print all values of L. What does it mean? All function is checking all values are true. Okay. So if these values are true, obviously that will be displayed as a matching and
So
output
all
will be.
here is again another API that we are trying to call.
Yes, all is another API.
Okay. Okay.
And it's not only applicable for numeric data, but even for your alphanumeric values, or let's say here a set of characters string. It will display you if the values are true. It will display it as a true as a message.
Okay. So if you give like mixed as an input, it's going to like if you have strings and numbers, then it's going to do false or something. Okay, let's see. So this is a tuple in this case, right? So
Yes. Differently, we can let's try it for dictionary.
mhm.
Comment is given by star.
Hash, right? Hash. Yeah. Valid syntax.
Okay. So if you declare it as a list or tuples and you ask him to get the print all the values of s, that eventually works out. Whether it is alphanumeric value, it works out for it. Simple. This plain dictionary declaration, the all function works for that
The
dictionary
all
as well.
function basically is like a boolean. It only gives you like a true or false value, is it?
Yes, yes. It only gives you true or false values.
Okay. So I don't understand. Like one thing is what is true. Like so when do we get to use this?
Where use it. Right? Uh, a couple of times your array may hold some non-integer values,
Mm-hmm.
okay, some non-real values. In that case, you might be just curious to find out if there are some real values present or not.
Okay. Okay.
So, likewise, it may be a decision criteria for you that apparently if you got some of the values like 0 by 0, 0 by 0 is not an integer.
Right.
Okay. So, in that way, that should be one of the conditional check. By using all, you will just identify if the values are matching and true or not.
Okay.
That's it, man. We're just exploring the various ready-made APIs or built-in
Mm-hmm.
API which can
Right.
help us with different type of attributes of the data types.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Likewise, for example, you have declared a list 13254. Okay,
Right.
and I'm asking him to get my maximum number out
That's
of it.
okay.
There is a possibility that we would have declared 13254 somewhere else, and we would have called the maximum as an array. Okay, as in, let's say I can say a is equal to, okay,
Uh-huh.
and I will say a1 is equal to max of a.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
That was possible, and then here
Okay. You can do that too. Okay. Okay.
we have declared everything in line.
Right.
Okay,
Can we do this on other data types too, like lists and dictionaries? Dictionaries, obviously, you may not have it.
uh,
Or you can.
dictionary you will not have your
Yeah. Dictionaries, you may not have it, but on lists also we can do it. Okay.
list and tuple because
Okay.
ultimately, yeah, it works on the numeric data, compare it with each other.
Right.
The algorithm is like we typically call it as a bubble sort. It will
Okay.
take a first index one, go ahead and scan for the second. It will
Okay.
compare both of them. Okay,
Okay.
who is the minimum out of it? It will be treated as a maximum.
Right.
Okay,
Until the
three
end of
is,
the list.
and then three will be compared to two. Okay,
Right. Right.
and again three will be compared to five, and then again
Okay.
five will be compared to four. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
yeah, a transversal scanning, or let's say an interim scanning which keeps on taking place to find out the maximum value.
Right. Okay.
Okay, then there is a sorting.
Sorting. Okay.
So in sorting, let's say now we know the sequence of the values, right?
Right.
It has been given in some scattered sequence, right? And now
Right.
we are asking to sort this particular sequence and display it across.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Summation of the values. Again, sum is a built-in API here. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. It will only give me. It will only give us the summation of numbers.
Okay.
Now, while doing so, it also obviously takes into consideration the minus sign.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Got
Here
it.
also.
Oh, finding maximum. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Got it.
as it works on positive as well as negative values also.
Negative numbers. Okay.
Okay. Now creating the tuples from a list and from string dictionary. Okay. So let's say T1 is my tuple. Now print T1 is C1. Okay. So it will create me an empty tuple as normally we declare. Okay. Now creating a tuple from a list. That means we are creating a tuple, but inside we are declaring a list of values. Okay. 146. And now if I execute this command, it is going to give me 146 as a tuple values. Okay.
Okay.
Differently, creating a tuple from the string. Here, my string is Python, but if I create it as a tuple, it is going to create it as a different set of characters.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And
Yes.
then creating a tuple from the dictionary. So here also, let's say we have assigned some label and we have assigned some value to it. Only the numeric values will be taken up forward, and that will be called inside a tuple.
Okay.
Okay.
So the numeric value can be an attribute and or also a label, right? So it will only take the numeric value. It doesn't matter whether it's an attribute or a label.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So any doubt so far?
No, it's good so far.
This we have done. This we have done. Yeah. I'm just slightly revising a few
Right.
rule loops, and we'll go ahead with a small assignment based on it.
Okay.
So I guess less than, greater than, these things are pretty clear, right? Less than,
Right.
greater
Yes.
than, or
Right.
equal to, greater, or equal to. Yes. The logical operations and or the combination of and or. Okay. Then if else syntax is clear.
Yes.
Okay. So a plain if there is only a if and else,
And
if
then
there is a
eventually.
if else
Yes.
if else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The various. So the syntax for loops is whichever
Alright.
the okay, the index I want to rotate in, and how many times or till what extent I want to rotate it. Okay. So for and in are the keyword. Item is the index, and sequence is the number of times it will be repeating.
Right.
While loops.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Range function.
Yes. Range function. Range.
Okay. And then declaration of functions. Yes. So definition is the keyword, function name, input arguments.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So these are a few things we'll be using it today.
Okay.
Now.
Okay.
Okay, so basically a Python program to check if your number is positive, negative, or zero.
Okay. Okay.
A plain logic. So what is our task for here is that we have to accept a number from the user. Okay, so as there is a print command, likewise there is an input command.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Okay. Okay. So you can give it as input, enter number. Okay.
okay, so we can get input as a number. Okay,
Okay.
the number may be integer, the number may be float, so that data type also I can specify. If I do not specify this, that also is fine. Okay, but when I declare this number as a float, a data type, I got an opportunity of accepting any non-integer values, or let's say float values also.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so to accept the input from the user, there is an input command, and the basic syntax is like whatever the message you want to display, that can be given inside the braces,
Okay.
like enter the number, enter the marks, height, whatever it is. Okay,
Right. Yeah.
now we are simply checking, like my problem statement is to find out if it is a positive, negative, or zero number.
Right.
So if my number is greater than zero, print that zero is a positive number. Okay, okay,
So here, when you give in that parentheses, like, the curly braces, right? That
yeah,
is going to be the input value basically, right? Whatever
that
they
is
enter.
yeah, yeah, it is going to display the value. Should it be a positive number or a zero number? That means either of these syntaxes will be chosen to display, to be displayed.
Right. Right. Right.
Okay, and the syntax for display will be like format and the number. So format already we have declared as float format. Okay, and the number I'll be calling. Okay, so based on whatever the number we insert, it will be giving me either it is a zero or negative or positive.
Enter a
Now,
number. Okay.
as there was an input command, so it has accepted this.
Okay. Got you.
Now, what happens if we won't give float as an input?
Right. It's only going to take integer value, right?
Yes.
Okay. So here only one question is in the print command, right? You have
Yeah.
the zero in the parentheses, right? Not here. In the like the text within the brackets where you have the text, it says zero.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't understand. Do we always have to give that zero or?
Just 1 second.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. It has nothing to do here.
Okay.
What?
That's just the text value, right? I mean, it has nothing to do there. So it's just the text value. So basically, it's only going to take whatever the input that you give you, it's going to take that number.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if I give it as, if I remove the braces, curly braces,
Yeah.
it is not able to retrieve that value. Could you get the
Right.
difference? Yes. So
Yeah.
empty curly braces, an empty braces is fine, but if I remove
Okay.
this,
Yeah.
I'm not able to retrieve the value.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So you can, yeah, just give an empty value. That's also fine. Okay. Okay, sounds good. So I just got confused why there was a zero in that. Why do we have to give that? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Like if the number is even or not. Okay. So here I guess modulo operator we have discussed.
Yes, we have discussed.
Yes. So I can simply say I'll accept the number, input the number, and if I say
Uh-huh.
number modulo 2, it will give me the remainder of that particular value.
So here you are only declaring an integer value. So obviously you cannot give a float value there. So,
So
okay.
that need to be rounded off typically. Let's do it also. Okay. Because here integer or float, whatever we passes, actually it will be compared as a, yeah, or it will be taken as a